first and the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame on Thundercloud. Mum calls me James, washing away the garbage, leave it. Rainbows after rains, let's have some fun and linguistic games. I'm here with Pat tonight, but I've got a little bit of a show in store for you. First of all, I'm going to be starting with Harry Hooton, poet of the 21st century, collected poems. And Harry Hooton was a cult figure in Sydney's literary circles when he died in 1961, aged 52. Goodness gracious, 52. He's 2 years younger than me.
I didn't say 51. 1951.
61 he died at the age of 52. He was scorned by the Australian literary establishment. His influential magazine 21st Century helped bridge the gap between the new writing in the United States and a conservative Australia. Hooton's philosophy was self-styled anarcho-technocracy, power over things, and the dictatorship of art, which was expressed in both poetry and essays published through the 1940s and 50s. This selection by Sasha Soldato marks the first appearance of Harry Hooton in book form for 25 years, and this was published in, goodness gracious me, by Angus and Robertson in 1990. Here we go. We've got a quote here. A necessary condition of health for any poetry is probably the presence of at least a few poets who defy culture, pigeonholing, but occasionally such a figure is suddenly seen to redefine himself at the centre and to generate a whole new output of mainstream poetry. It seems possible that Harry Hooton will be relocated in this way, moving from idiosyncratic isolation to the formative centre. And that was Harry Hesseltine, the Penguin Book of Australian Verse, his quote. All right, so I've got three selected out of here. And the first one is, of course, titled Poetry.
Because one I'm reading is also.
Oh, very good, yeah. Yesterday I read one from Bruce Dorr called Bad Poems, or Bad Poetry, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I probably fit under that category.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh, so you've got something to read tonight, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, great, all right. Poetry. There are no rules for poetry. Necessity makes and breaks all rules. There's a world of living men you can't rule, and a world of dead machines you can rule. And a new world awaiting its builder, the poet, who is the exception to all rules, who is the rule. And there is a host of lawyers, accountants, waiting until this world is built, opposing the building while it is being built, but waiting to account for it with rules, their rules. And they will give you the rules for how to build a new world, but similar to the old one they know best. When the old one is superseded, they will cling to the old one long after they are needed in any world, and they'll tell you you'll never build anything without their rules, and they lie. They are wrong. For there never was anything worthwhile yet made but by its own rules. So despite all the rules, preceding rules, get in and write poetry. And then, but not till then, study the rules your poetry has made. But then, suppose what you had written was not a poem, but prose. Suppose it were a statement, or a cry, or an utterance, a great utterance with guts or gutterance, or a scientific thesis, or mathematical formula, or musical score. Or supposing it was more than poetry, some new thing from the future without a name, Oh, shame. What did you say, Pope? Whatever is trite. By Christ, you're right. What is necessary is what isn't. Poetry today. Rules, rhyme, rhythm, metre are not necessary to poetry, but oh, how necessary poetry is to these.
Very good. Lovely ending. Love
It
that.
is, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it is. That's a real good line, isn't it? I like that too.
Brilliant.
The next one we've got here, and it's called War and Order. It's written after a poem called Law and Disorder, but then this one is called War and Order.
Yeah.
What might be done if men were wise? What glorious deeds, my suffering brother, would they unite in love and right and cease their wars on one another? Hate causes wars, but love nourishes them, or love causes them, and hate adds fuel to the flame. So let us abolish wars by loving the peacemakers, and so start them in our hatred of the war makers. Rubbish. Let us wage wars in and out of season, loving, hating, for any or no reason. Life is war, and love and hate, and peace is death, stagnation. And wars will last while ever life shall last. What that I could not, but alas I hunger. What that I could, I'll start that. What that I could love not, but alas I hunger. What that I could hate not, but I fear. What that men would not wage wars, but they live. Would that all these loving dead would learn to live? What? Extirpate hate? This twin spring of love from action? Rest, lust from life? Heart, lungs from breath? Uproot all the core and light of being? To hell with this spineless living death! Do you hate war, exploitation, power? Do you love love, peace, pity and light? Friends, nothing is wrong itself, but only in its context. All things abound in one external texture. Everything, vice, hate, war in its place, is right. Love your enemies. Well, the cannibal eats them. Hate them. Yes, and enslave, perpetuate them. But who, what are your enemies? Oh, for all time know them. In the stern world of dread, steel, stone outside you. Yes, we shall wage wars, but not on one another. Brothers, your external enemy awaits. Outside, man's evil dreams of love and sorrow await new predicates for love and hates. For love and hate are one, eternal war, reciprocation, and man is one. His fellow love is masturbation, self-love, self-hatred, incest, and death. Man can be nothing to man, save in suicide, death, where the subject is also the object. There may be a sentence, but a sentence of death. As grammar puts language to death, there is the eternal antithesis. Man must war on the world, for enemies and weapons change with clearer vision. We must take the spanners, dies, pens, blueprints in our hands. We shall ignore an ignoble man and his manners. We shall let moron war on moron, while we build heaven in no man's land. When we fight the enemy, when we hate, but cease to hate ourselves, when we love more than one another, when we think, but not about ourselves, oh, then will be realised your dreams, my brothers. World peace within man, world wars without. When we unleash the divine lust within us and ravish, conquer the empires without.
So he would have written that in the early days of the Vietnam War, or after the Korean War, and of course the Second World War and the First World War. That's would have been his sort of
right. Yeah. So the
living experience.
Yeah, this part was written between 1961. This bit was published.
That's about the start of the Vietnam War, wasn't it?
Right, and that's pretty much the last year of his life too.
Yes.
And okay, well look, if you're liking this, well don't just, if you're liking it or not, give it a thumbs up please, because it helps the metrics and it helps us get the poetry out to more people. And if you leave a comment, tell me what you think about Harry Hooton's poems so far. Thank you very much. Don't forget, we've got the Australian Poetry Film Competition running, or contest running at the moment. And you can see the link in the description to us, filmfreeway.com/Australian Poetry Film Contest. And there's still a good 5 weeks to get your entries in for the regular entries. So you've got plenty of time. So get on with it, make a poetry film, and you can win a prize, of course, and prestige as well, even better. The next one I'm going to do after I have a sip of my drink, and then I might invite you up, is invite Pat up, is called Words of Love. And I'm sort of playing along. I've got an entry in the Nimbin Performance Poetry World Cup on the 7th and 8th of September, so I'm going to be up there in Nimbin in 3 weeks, and I'm working on a poem about war and love and that kind of stuff at the moment. So it's one of the reasons I'm reading through some Harry Hooton stuff, really. And you'll probably you'll even see how I've possibly even borrowed some of his words in what I've currently written, and I will be editing this, what I'll be reading out later of my own stuff. It's called Words of Love. For each man kills the things he loves. Well, it's about time we ceased to love man and started to love things, inanimate matter, and killed, waged wars on it. Christ said to the slaves, "Love one another." And the slaves and their masters said, "Love us." And he loved us. And they all loved to pray, and pray, P-R-E-Y. And they loved one another to say, softly, gently, love one another. And the dear little waves snap one another, softly, gently, saying to each, "Oh, love, broth, bother, brother," up on the beach. Canute said to the waves, "Go back. The lamb craves of the tiger his pity." Christ calls to the graves, to the dead, and biology waves whatever is said. Cries cannot lift the dead. Love is not raised by words. Words are the murmurs of grass as they brush together. And the grasses on graves whisper, whimper, push one another, softly, gently, quite out of breath, talking to death. I love my dinner, and the shark loves me for his dinner. I don't love the shark. I cannot return food for evil. Now, I'm partial to sardines, in tins, dead of course, but I cannot eat a horse. He works and is so tame, and dies of love the same. And the dear little mammals and birds and mice and mullet and men eat one another with words, softly, surely, saying with each, suck, mouthful, sweetly sap one another, gut, swine, tapeworm, life, louse, leech. Oh friends, love matter to death. Let it feel your breath. Love anything other than life. Love stone, steel, silk, let clay. Pray to us, the potters, for grace. Life cannot be loved by life. Like must be repelled by like. Light must move, illumine the dark, as day loves and lifts the night. As the stars in space do not stare at the other stars, at the suns, but stir cold planets to birth, as the artist must turn from man to lift matter to life, or love it to death.
Won't you return to that passage in about the middle of it, where he's talking about the waves of grass at the graveside?
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah. So I'll read the whole passage, because the way that it's done, he's got like the passage, and he has these sort of bits in brackets.
Oh yeah.
And that's at the end of each stanza.
Okay. Yeah. But I'd like to hear that bit again.
Canute said to the waves, "Go back. The lamb craves of the tiger his pity. Christ calls to the graves, to the dead, and biology waves whatever is said. Cries cannot lift the dead. Love is not raised by words. Words are the murmurs of grass as they brush together, and the grasses on graves whisper, whimper, push one another, softly, gently, quite out of breath, talking to death."
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It has that sort of, that windiness in the sort of the grasses and the graves and the whisper and the and even the way I delivered it, like breath.
You delivered it beautifully.
It's got such a I've read it a number of times, and I've just it's funny how when you read something a number of times you really get to feel the intent of the author. You really, it becomes more resonant with you somehow. Much. Would you like to come on up?
Yeah, I would.
Sure. Well, everyone, Pat is here, and
I'm Pat.
If you want, we can just put that flat for you.
Ah, yeah. I'm Pat Greyson. I love poetry, but I'm a writer, and it's probably more about prose and stories and things like that. It's my intention as time goes forward, and I'm not quite so busy, that I actually spend more time writing and reading poetry. But when I read it, I don't think I have the tempo correctly, especially the second one that I'll read, which I've only done a couple of times. But this is called Palms, a natural biography. The palms of my hand chart a life of events, of joy, sadness, success, failure, love, hopes, hurts, and arrogance. Resembling spider web lines, lumps and striations, blemishes, like a parched river pan. A biography of fornication, drunken exploits, of friends, children raised, sweet romances, brutalities, tranquility, brawls, regrets, arguments, anger, addictions, optimism, and happiness, all are represented. Now in my 70s, more lines to come. Although my palms are cluttered and packed like an overstocked graveyard, I revel in thoughts of lines to come and thrill in the prospects of new etchings. After all, an unblemished palm indeed could reveal a boring life.
Yeah, it's good.
And this one, I'm reading also poetry, although I think yours is poems. It's a work in progress, and I'm likely to read this badly because, as I said, I haven't worked the tempo out on it, but I haven't worked on this for a long time. I read it once earlier this afternoon just to try and get myself back into it, but I've only read this aloud probably this afternoon for the first time. Poetry, a messenger conveying the injustices of society, invoking nature's enigma to an audience less accustomed to discourse. Poetry, just jump pages. Poetry extends a sincerity that the spoken word often overlooks, eliciting genuine response. Spoken words may preach, poetry reaches. Naked words revealing raw emotions, humour entwined in humility. Powerful verses provoking powerful actions. Educating, explaining, persuading, soothing, neutering. Painting imagery, inspiring. Capturing a crowd, implanting ideas. Instigating rebellion, consoling mourners after the loss of a loved one, not solely due to the words but the emotion they kindle. A few meagre sheets have been smuggled from detention centres, gulags, jails and oppressive regimes, enlightening the world, etched on toilet paper, napkins, cigarette boxes, bark, perfume, paper, silk. Today typed and shared across the internet, reaching thousands. Poetry knows no boundaries or limitations. Crafted skillfully by individuals from every corner of the globe, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, all possess the rhythm and the words within, a waking, thoughtful arrangement, requiring only a pen, paper, time, contemplation, passion, and inspiration. Or poetry is just for fun.
Yeah. Good. Oh, thanks, Pat. I like that one. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I did actually. So yeah, where am I now?
You've just dropped some
Oh, yeah, one of my
bookmarks.
bits of paper. Yeah. Now, what have I got for you that I've written myself this week? In fact, I've got a book here. I've been working on this one, and this one here I only just wrote a few more lines at the end of this just now. and it's a little bit of an extension on Harry Hooton's, but it's not the first one I'm going to read because there's another one that I think should precede it, if I can find it, which I will. So, love and war, yeah. So, what if love is selfish? Is it? Is loving someone selfish? I mean, in wanting, in needing an external source of happiness. If I'm happy in myself and with my own company, why is it that I would want to share my life with someone else? These are existential questions. There is the extrovert and the introvert part of me in ever-flowing waves. That makes me an ambivert. I don't deny people have feelings, however I find it difficult to comprehend why some people allow their feelings to rule over pragmatism. Surely allowing emotions and feelings to rule one's life instead of pragmatism, restraint and self-control is a sign of low emotional intelligence. Love. That would be a feeling. The state of unconditional love, that would be a choice of acceptance and respect mixed with allowance, topped with a smattering of care and nurturance along with positive intentions. That state of unconditional love would include appreciation to the power of reverence. That state of unconditional love would be a kind of choice where we can take the most horrid and horrific thing, act, person and accept it or them and love it or them. It's like that if everything we love dies, then let's love war to death. Make it our friend. Love it into non-existence. Then I go on to, this is written at a separate time, but I kind of feel it continues. Love war to death. Waiting for my grandfather, 4 years old, but he never came back. T-boned on the way home by a drunk. That was 1974. I learnt what I love dies. And what I don't like, pause. I'm loath to use the word hate. I couldn't give away my power so easily. What I don't like thrives. War thrives. So if what I love dies, let's love war to death. Let's love the lessons from babies dying and politicians. We love you too. Let's love Albanese and Dutton, Biden, Harris, Trump, Putin, Zelensky, Xi Jinping. Come on everyone, I hear Kim Jong-un's health is in decline. He's got diabetes and the effects of overeating. Come on, let's send Kim our love. I hear Melinda has left Bill Gates. He needs our love too. Let's inoculate and vaccinate Bill against hate with our love. Nuclear energy and carbon dioxide. Benjamin Netanyahu, who's Palestinian genocide. Deep state clones, pizza eating rock spiders, disposable payload drones. Oh yeah, what about the little children targeted and blown to bits? They were loved, so they took the hits. They were loved to death by their father, mother and grandmother, mother and grandmother killed in the precision strike. Loved to death by their father, who survives, still loves them, cries. They were loved to death by the IDF. Let's all love the IDF, Hamas, and the mess to death.
Powerful.
Yeah.
A lot of powerful stuff in there, that's for sure.
I know, it's horrible really when you think about it, but yeah. I think something, war's powerful anyway, isn't it? Yeah. War's force, and I think that's the power of, love has, and, positive words have over change and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's just something that I'm working on and playing with at the moment and seeing where I can go from that. That's very, very sad, awful situation, what's happening, All right, well, let's lighten the mood a bit. Okay, come on, all right. A dry sponge in the sun said, being a sponge is overrated. I just lost that, didn't I? When there is no water, I'm always dehydrated. I get left in the sink with bacteria and mould full of grime and chemicals chucked out when I'm old. I'm a sponge and I suck water, oil and dirt. Wipe me on a bench or dab me on a shirt, but I'm sitting in the sun, hard old, I cannot cry. I'm so dry I cannot squeeze a drop of water from my eye. My skin is wrinkly and my lips have cracks. I cannot reach around to scratch my itchy back. I am so dehydrated that I cannot have a piss. I do not like sitting in the sun. Stuff this! Up above the sponge, a large eagle flew. Looking for its dinner, the eagle did a poo. It fell through the air and landed on it with a splat on the brim of a beautiful fancy lady's hat. She put the sponge in water, wringed it out a bit, then dabbed the now damp sponge in the shit. The moral of the story, be careful what you ask, or you may end up with shit from an eagle's ass. That's, I don't know, that's where it went with that, It started with the sponge and, having a whinge and, I kind of sort of knew it would go somewhere like that, in a way.
It's fun.
Someone pointed out that if you drop the K from monkey, it becomes money. So monkeypox could be moneypox.
Moneypox.
Yeah. So this is a new one called moneypox. Moneypox is kind of funny. It's caught from handling money and men who have dreadlocks and OnlyFans girls who sell photos of their box. Symptoms include fatigue from work, panting after having a jerk, rash, lesions and green skin, feeling like money is a sin. To diagnose, they need to jam a finger in bum rectal exam. The solution comes from out of a box mandating jabs of moneypox. Put a plastic bag on your head, protect yourself from being dead. Stay at home, don't go out, living fear of germs on money about. Wear your gloves, drive with a mask or you'll be taken to task. Stay indoors, especially if sunny. Our solution will make us money.
Yeah, that will resonate with a lot of people, that.
Yeah, I'm
for sure.
We've been there, we've all been there. I was actually, I subscribed to the World Economic Forum just because, what do they say, keep your enemies closer. And yeah, they in their email today, like they're like, monkeypox has been declared a global pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I go into their thing and I start reading about it, and you can only get it in with contact from animals. There's something like 14,000 allegedly cases in Africa. But when you look at the map, the only coloured in countries that have got it are like Australia, Europe and the United States and Canada. It's a continent. It's like there's a 6 or 4 here and a few there, and 14,000 in Africa, which are not mapped. That part of the map's white, even though they've got the most cases. And
they wouldn't be able to count them there anyway. They don't have the logistics.
Of course not. No.
Yeah.
So monkeypox.
Moneypox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this was like just it began thinking like, what if people were acting like sheep, and then it just went through a whole lot of things of like acting like different domestic animals. There is one an acronym that I use in this is FUD, F-U-D, which is sort of like a trading thing standing for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I thought I'd put that up there first. If you act like sheep, then you're probably going to die. When sheep are in the slaughterhouse, meat eaters don't cry. Sheep are the prey and get eaten by a lion. The lion doesn't care how many sheep are dying. Give the fence a rattle if you're acting like cattle, worshipping the bullshit, distractions and the prattle. Following the herd usually ends up fatal. That'll be the end of you if you act like cattle. As a chicken in a cage, I would be in a rage, laying eggs for feed in a suburban cage, dying very young, never reach mature age, worshipping the god of feed as some kind of sage. If you act like a pig, then you'll end up in the mud, making porky bacon, spurting piggy blood, always on the search for food, living in FUD. Greed, filth in a cage is a pig in mud. If you are a human, what more can I say? But don't act like an animal or you're going to pay for it with your life. So have a lovely day. Sheep, cattle, chickens, pigs get eaten, fade away.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a beautiful morning one that I did while in my morning walk. And it included a nice photo collage of most of the things in this. Sunrise brings crepuscular rays, daffodils in late winter days. Foggy sunrise, oh what luck, on the pond a swimming duck. Distant cockatoo flocks squawk, breaking peace along my walk. Wet shoes from dewy grass, moments like these always pass. It's just one of those.
That's lovely. I really like that.
Yeah.
Won't you read it again?
Yeah, sure, because it really is. So that I can't really see many of the photos that go with it, but there was, things like the daffodils and the ducks and the foggy morning there. Sunrise brings crepuscular rays, daffodils in late winter days, foggy sunrise, oh what luck, on the pond a swimming duck. Distant cockatoo flocks squawk, breaking peace along my walk. Wet shoes from dewy grass, moments like these always pass.
Yeah, it's excellent. Love it. I really like that. It's evocative, really is.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the next one. It's actually but I've got a few more. I've got one or two more that I might do. So it's on a similar thing. It's the silence and absence of human noise on a Sunday morning that's pleasant. There goes a car, here comes a bus, groaning air brakes of a truck, bus drives away. Back to silence with just birds singing. Thank my luck. So yeah, I just started writing how peaceful it was, and suddenly everything comes: car, truck, bus. Yeah. And back to silence.
But that's present moment stuff. That it's,
Yeah, really.
It's waiting for the birds.
It is. Yeah, definitely. And so the other one that I will do, which I do like, is this. I went to wish upon a star. There was not one, but quadrillions of galaxies with quadrillions of stars, each one a sun. Quintillions of planets, all teeming with life, far more advanced than our planet. No wars, hate or strife. Peace. No bombs nurturing all life. Only here on earth is the law of tooth, claw, gun and knife. I went to wish upon a star. There was not one. Clouds blanketed the sky. There were no stars. Instead, I made a wish upon this earth that we can be like the great unseen peaceful quadrillions. The peaceful quadrillions. Peaceful. I closed my eyes, still could see where no being dies unnecessarily. Made my wish upon this earth, nurture worms and flies, plants and Mother Earth. That's that. Yeah. Now that was a nighttime one. Yeah. Or maybe it was a morning one. They're often written in the morning or in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. Yeah. You wake up and yeah. Now, oh look, I've got two more and they're mad. Have you heard of mad pride?
Pride?
No, mad pride. So you know what gay pride is?
Yeah.
It's like mad pride is for people with mental illness to reclaim the word mad, to use it like with pride.
Yeah.
I'm mad. Anyway, mad poem number 1. It's not as mad poem number 2 is mad, but yeah. Driving me mad, completely insane, as mad as a hat, a lead poisoned brain, working like mad, fast cannot stop. What a mad band, mad pills to pop. Mad about chocolate, mad for football, mad you forgot, mentally irrational, mad magazine. Let's all go mad. Annoying human being, mad, mad, mad. Mad.
Yeah, I used to read Mad magazine when I was a kid.
So did I.
I wonder if it's still going.
Yes, they canned it and then they restarted it again because it was, people demanded it. Mad poem 2. He ate the poo of a bat. Parasites began to attack his brain, and the spoon ran into the bathroom, following the spoon, never realising these were delusions. That's that.
It's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the mad one, yeah. And that's it for tonight for me, yeah. Thank you, Pat, for reading for us tonight. Thank you out there for watching Wednesday Words here on the 21st of August. Yeah, 2024. Have a good night and we'll speak to you next week.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't think I've written that much, and then when I go back and I